In the second game of tonight's ESPN doubleheader, Andre Drummond expected to make his Lakers debut against the Bucks. Lakers, of course, currently fourth in the West, 5 games ahead of that play-in scenario, which is really the line for them, Ramona, until they get AD and LeBron back. What are your expectations for Drummond's debut tonight?
Well, I think he's going to play a lot, Rach. I think he's going to be effective because he's going to be excited to be out there for the first time in a couple of months here. They're excited about him. He had a good practice. He's in shape. So I know he hasn't been playing, but he's in shape and he's ready to go. He's a little rusty. He's going to have to get back that touch around the rim, and he's going to have to get that touch back out there. But he's excited to be out there. I think the bigger question for me is just chemistry-wise, like what does this do to Marc Gasol? I mean, that's a proud guy out there who's giving up his starting spot here because this is what they needed to do to get Andre Drummond. And it's, Marc Gasol goes to the bench now. And he has not had a great year for the Lakers by his standards, by their standards. He's coming back from a bout of COVID. That was tough for him. But this is not what he signed up for in LA. And Frank Vogel's got a job on his hands of managing that.
What do you think, Robert, of that chemistry issue? And we know that Marc is, he's normally a good get-along kind of guy, but he's a guy who's also, done a lot of things in this league.
Yeah, it gets to a point in the league where you understand your role. And as a player, you want what's best for the team. And Marc's that type of guy. He knows what's best for this team is for him to step aside. He's not playing well. He's still not in shape from that COVID episode. So hopefully, this will give him time to really focus on his body. This is time we can go get extra conditioning to be ready because you're going to need Marc Gasol. You're going to need his outside presence because we know LeBron loves playing with him. He loves his ability to see the game because he always talks about his IQ. So with him on the floor, he makes the people, LeBron and AD, much better.
If this season in particular, and especially this moment in the season has taught us anything, look at all the injuries to the top players.
Right.
Look at the injuries to, you've seen it with Joel Embiid, LeBron and AD and Steph being out. You've seen it so much. So you need guys, you need bodies. Now, if you allow Marc to relax and get himself back into shape, you're going to get an opportunity to play. This has happened to every player that I've ever played with that understands roles and what your opportunities are. Some days you'll be in the lineup, some days you won't. If you look at last year in the postseason, Dwight and certain guys played in certain series, they didn't play another series. So it's all about your skill set and what you bring. The worst thing that Marc Gasol could do is be upset, be frustrated, allow himself to get out of shape, but he's a professional. This is what he's going to do, and I think he probably saw this coming. He's had conversations before Drummond signed. He was like, hey, what's going on? And it's like, look, I want what's best for the team. Are you okay with that? Should we waive you, allow you to go someplace else if you're going to be upset? That wasn't the case, so I believe that he's on board. And
when we look at Andre Drummond, Ramona, obviously the Lakers went after him pretty hard, didn't get the trade going for Kyle Lowry that they were interested in. Can you take us behind the scenes at all? How did they pitch him, and how did he end up picking there? Because, he had other places that he could have gone.
Look, this is a showcase for him. He is a rental, and I know he said, I hope it's for longer than this year, but if you know how the salary cap works and the hard cap works, unless he wants to play for a vet minimum next year, which he is worth a lot more than a vet minimum, or even that $9 million exception that all those teams have. I mean, he's worth a lot more than that. So this is an audition for him to show what he can do on a winning team. He has not been in a situation like this before in his NBA career. I think he's really happy to be here, really excited. And he turned down roles with teams that have more money to pay him in the offseason to be in Los Angeles. And the way the Lakers got him, and they essentially said, you're going to be our starting center. You're going to play a lot of minutes. You're going to be able to showcase yourself in a winning situation. And he had to kind of look within himself and say, do I care more about the money? Do I care more about establishing myself in a place where maybe they could re-sign me, where they have the money to do that? Or do I care more about putting myself on a championship team, contending for a title like he never has before? And does that establish your value more, especially if he's going to be starting and playing a lot of minutes?
He asked himself, do I want to spend part of the winter in Los Angeles after spending winters in Cleveland and Detroit? I mean, these are the questions that go through a man's mind. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.